virtual conference, Access DevCon Vienna, took place on April 10 and 11. There was a long session with the Microsoft Access team in which they showed their work on many new features. I have condensed the highlights of the presentation into 2 videos. This first one covers 4 chapters. A new command line switch for signing code, several new features for the Monaco SQL Editor, the plans for the reintegration of source code control, and some news about modern charts. Let's go.
My name is Dale Rector. I'm the engineering manager for Microsoft Access. We've got some feature updates for you today and some demos. And we have 3 speakers from our engineering team. We have Sachin, Courtney, and Shane. And so they'll be giving you sort of some feature updates and a little bit of a glimpse of some of our future plans. And so to start things off, we've got Sachin, and he's going to walk you through some of our digital code signing and Monaco SQL Editor improvements.
So we are bringing the CLI interfaces to sign your databases. Earlier, the process was to open the database and open the VB editor and then sign the database, selecting a particular certificate. People wanted to automate this process and they wanted a CLI interface. We have providing a new command line interface. The syntax would access executable location, then the database you want to sign, and there is a /sign flag. After that, you have to provide a certificate. As long as the certificate name is already installed and its code signing capability, you would be able to quickly sign the databases. This would actually facilitate automation. Let's say you have 10 databases. If you want to quickly sign it, you can write Power Bash or Power Script or Bash script to iterate through all the databases name and just sign it all. It takes few seconds and you'll be done with it. I have a sample database open here. Let's see if there is no signature applied currently. As you can see, there is no certificate applied currently. I'll close this database. And in the command line, I'll use the command I showed in the slide, link to access executable, then the database name, sign, and I have created a self-certificate using Office tool. I'll use this command to sign the demo data. Yeah, it is pretty fast. Now the database has been signed. Let's go and verify that. As you can see, the database got signed with the certificate we provided, which was the self-cert. Yeah, another important update we are bringing to Monaco Editor is the fast loading. When we launched the Monaco Editor, people were complaining that it takes 2 to 3 seconds to load. The underlying issue was actually with the Edge browser control we used to launch the Monaco Editor. When we actually involve local files, we usually take few seconds to load. It's not particularly with Monaco Editor. Even if you're trying to load local HTML page, it would actually slow down. The Edge team has been made aware of this problem, but it's taking a bit time to fix this. So this is an interim solution we are bringing. Upon opening the database, we preload the Monaco Editor in the idle loop. So if you're trying to launch the editor, you would actually seem like it's launching very fast, almost instantly as old editor. Yeah, it is actually pretty cool. Yeah, another important update we are bringing to the Monaco Editor is executing the selected text. The people who are aware with the SSMS product, they have a feature where you could select any text in the editor as long as the text is a valid SQL text, it would execute. The current access behavior is if you try to run the queries, it would actually try to compile whole SQL text. And if there is any syntax error, it would fail. This would actually help you to quickly prototype any SQL queries. For example, in a union query, you could run the first part of the union query separately, second part of the union query separately, or you could just write any select expression and get the result quickly. Another thing is when you run the query, you would be able to go back to the editor and still see all the contents preserved. So you're not going to lose anything. It's just mainly for prototyping. It's been asked, one of the main asked for Monaco Editor, so we have been it. This is the feature many people have been asking since MEP Summit as well. So we are excited to bring the SQL formatting capabilities for Monaco Editor. So our current formatting is pretty basic, where we have only new lines after SQL keywords. So basically after select keyword, from, or where. We are using the SQL formatter open source library. So with that, you would actually see new parameters in new lines. and all the union queries or the inner queries operating intended properly. Yeah, there would be also like a keyboard shortcut where when you write the query, if you use that keyboard shortcut, you would automatically format the queries and it would be like visually very appealing. The next update we did was instantly launching the Monaco Editor. Right now, the database has been open for more than 2 to 3 seconds, which means like the Monaco Editor has been loaded already in the background. So if you try to open the query, it would launch instantaneously. As you can see, the new formatting, it's already been applied. Earlier, all these parameter would have been appearing next to the select statement in a single line. Right now, all these are separated by a new line. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to show was running the selected SQL text. Anywhere in the Monaco Editor, you could select a SQL text and it would run it. For example, in this union query, I just select the first part of the union query and run it. It would run only that part, ID, field 1, field 2, which was the select statement provided in the first part. I could also run a query in the comment section. This is like just selecting all from a random other table. So it would run from the select star from all table, which is having ID and field name. And if you go back to editor, you would have the same content page out here. And you could quickly write any queries on the go and run it. For example, I'm writing an expression here. It's doing select expression 10 into 50. I can run this and you would get a result. As far as the formatting is concerned, I want to show this example. I'm going to like paste this clumped up large SQL query into the editor. And it would be not visually appealing. So I have a hooked up Control K keyboard to quickly format using the SQL formatter library. So after you paste a query and you want to see the query in a formatted way, you press Control K and it will format instantaneously. As you can see, that was a large clumped up query and it would usually, it will appear beautifully in SQL formatted way. We are going to introduce in the future is source control management. Basically, we had a earlier old visual source safe model where it was implemented as an add-in model where the visual source safe, which is currently deprecated, was used, and that was used for source control. We are going to bring the same model but with GitHub integration. So currently this is in early design phase. So you would have the almost same icons we used previously. Before you would be associating database to get check-in, check-out, and getting the history or the latest version. So the main goal here would be, for example, Northwind template. Instead of downloading the whole Northwind template, it would have GitHub link where it would have definition for tables, queries, macros, and you would just check out the table and you would import that to the Access and you would have this full Northwind template. Yeah, we would just skip that data part, but anyway, the data part can be populated randomly since it's not important. So this is currently in design phase, so we'll be bringing this to the public pretty soon.
Okay, the next thing I want to do is a modern chart update, and this is a very recent addition. We've added VBA support for all the new modern charts. So if you go into current channel now and you want to add modern charts or customize modern charts, you can do that through VBA. And so we've exposed a bunch of new properties like grid lines I mentioned. Sorting is another thing that we never had in modern charts, which we now have. You can sort your chart data ascending or descending, or none at all if you choose. But you now have that option, and it's just all available through VBA as well. What we did for older versions of Access is that we added stubs to the older versions of Access. So if you try to exercise the new modern chart VBA, or if you open a form or a report in an old version of Access and it has the VBA for the new modern chart types and properties, our stub methods will let you know that, hey, this is not supported in earlier versions of Access. We did that instead of bumping the version of VBA, which from what I understand, historically, we've done, and it's been a very disruptive process for users. So we sought to avoid the disruption and to add these stub methods in older versions of Access. And so what users will see is a little dialogue like this, telling them it's not supported in their version of Access. So that's about all I have for updates on modern charts.